Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'd like to know where you're from, so please feel free to chat where you're watching. I am Catherine Mattice, founder and CEO of Stability Partners. We're a consulting firm focused on building positive cultures. We specialize in turning around toxic work cultures. My public service announcement for you today is that a single training session is not enough to change a person's behavior, let alone culture. But we often see so many companies resorting to sporadic training sessions and hoping it makes a difference. So just wanted to share with you what we do here. We do workforce surveys, we do training systems, we coach, and we do all sorts of cool stuff. We also really work with our organizations to develop action plans for change. Culture change is around behavior change, organizational change, and leadership change. So this is how we position our services. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest. I've got, let me make Justin Allen Hayes. He is from Voices for Voices, as his shirt says. He's the founder and executive director. Thanks, Justin, for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you are the founder and director of Voices for Voices. You're the author of The House of You, Prescription for Living. You're a mental health and workforce influencer. You're a humanitarian. So we have lots to talk about. So first, tell us about Voices for Voices. What do you do? Why did you found that organization?
Sure. I founded it after my own mental health crisis going on 6 years ago, where I ended up in a 5-day inpatient stay at our city hospital. Was diagnosed with major depression, low spectrum autism, and anxiety. From there, when I was released, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was pretty set up until that point, and it was a huge crash. Lost 40 pounds, was withdrawn from activities. Didn't think I was suicidal, but looking at all the signs, it looks like I kind of was. I was kind of letting everybody and have what I was doing, and so through my therapy, that I decided at the beginning when I was admitted to the hospital that I was going to have to embrace it, that there was going to be no more of me trying to do everything myself, trying to Google every answer, trying to think that just because I'm a guy that I can get through situations, that I don't have emotions. And so at that point, I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped any drug use that I had been doing up until a point. Which the drug use was relatively low. It was more of the kind of alcoholism, of not knowing when to stop. And so at that point, after making that decision, that was really hard. I had to really swallow 35 years of my life and really move on in a different direction. I had to decide what I wanted to do. And I love helping people, helping others. Also teach at a local university, Walsh University, and that part I loved. And I decided that I wanted to do more than teach and share the content of the book. So I started to integrate through my therapist's recommendation, my own mental health story, kind of the highs, the low, where I was at, and just be upfront with the students. And at that point, I decided to hold an event that I called the Voices for Voices, a brand new day event. And I had, we had a special needs band, we had art, we had presentations from individuals telling their stories from in the US, locally, nationally, as far as New South Wales, Australia. And it was an awesome event to have. But again, like my, I guess, ambition is I wanted to do more. I didn't want to just have a once a year event and have notoriety. So looked into the process of starting an organization, and Voices for Voices seemed like a good idea because I wanted the organization to really embrace every voice. So whether somebody's able to speak, whether they're understand sign language, whether they're able to hear, whether they're able to play an instrument, whether they're able to express themselves through art, whatever way that could be, I wanted to have that open to everybody. And so that started the organization. So we do have that annual event every October, which is our foundation event. But since then, we started a television show that airs every Wednesday on our local PBS television station. And we bring individuals from all walks of life to share their stories. We bring professionals to talk about their life as a practitioner. We bring individuals such as we're starting to kick off in the month of July, the Summit County Public Health Department, where they're coming in talking about addiction, talking about it being a disease, talking about what the county is doing, what resources are available. We have a resource officer, a police officer that is on one of the episodes, and he talks about after overdoses, he goes and tries to visit with the individuals to say, yeah, I'm not here to arrest you. I just want to let you know that the community's here for you and we have resources. And so from there, we jumped off and we did a little bit of mission work earlier, I guess last month, and end of May, early June. We went to Ukraine, kind of an unannounced visit. Obviously, with the aggression that's going on there, we did some humanitarian work. We were able to secure some interviews from parliament members, organization leaders, mothers who have also had to flee where they're at. And we also made that stop in Romania to bring some of that footage. And the goal I have is a huge goal, to help 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime. So I'm very, very ambitious, and Voices for Voices is where I spend 100% of my time.
Yeah. That's a great story. Wow. I mean, I do what I do also because I was, had an experience. And so it's really great for those of us who, maybe felt like we hit rock bottom. Mine was related to being bullied at work and really becoming passionate about positive work environments where people feel good. So that I think for those of us that have hit a version of rock bottom and then we get to find a passion through it and do something we love, I feel lucky in some ways that, I know a lot of people just go and get a job and that's their job. And yeah. And I love, we've got people writing in from Indiana, Canada, Florida, Texas. So thanks all, India. Thanks all for being here. Tell me about what a workplace can do. How can a workplace, lots of workplaces, especially these days, we're inclusive and all this stuff, but really what they mean is we're inclusive as long as it still works for the business, which I get. I'm a business owner. I can't, I got to have a business that thrives so I can make paychecks and all this stuff. Yeah. But what are some things that employers can do or suggestions you have for leaders listening in to be more open to all of the voices out there and the silent struggles that people are going through?
I think being present with the employees, with the team members, talking to them, whatever those messages are, if it's a town hall, if it's a weekly or monthly email, talking about life as a human being, not trying to rub it in and talk about, oh, I have these things and I got to go on this exotic trip, but really bring it down to a human level. As I know, and I'm sure you and our viewers and our listeners know, that as human beings, there's functions that we just all do, regardless of where we're at in the spectrum. Food, water, clothing, shelter. Having those things, as I'm going through, we spoke before the telecast, our air conditioner went out. And so that is a luxury for me and my family to, in the summertime, be able to turn the air conditioner on. And so now I'm finding out what it is not to have an air conditioner. Is that affecting my ability to live? No, it's making it a little bit inconvenient. So as a leader, talking about just real issues, giving people a platform to share their story. One thing I like to do as an instructor, and I started to do probably about 3 semesters or 3 terms ago, is to identify a student in class that is really passionate with their responses, with their feedback, something that they have as a hobby. And I let them get in front of the class, which is anywhere from 20 to 40 students, and talk about what their passion is. If that's a business, such as a t-shirt making business, if that is a digital marketing business, if it is somebody's in athletics and wants to open a gym, if they're into cryptocurrency, whatever that is, give them the opportunity to talk, that treat them as a human being. While we know that our titles are different, in this instance, being an instructor and a student, we're still human beings. There are still common things that we like to do. So as a leader, really letting people speak, not getting those questions at town halls I've been at many times where they're always screened for whatever the topic is, that management wants to talk about one topic or two topics and nothing else, and there's company terms. Now, I understand from a legal perspective, there may be things legally, and if it's a publicly traded company with the Securities and Exchange Commission, things that haven't maybe been disclosed, there might be some restrictions there. But giving an individual the ability to talk about what their passion is, maybe they have a crocheting business on the side, and they get up and they talk about that for 3 or 4 minutes, and now people in the company know that, okay, Justin or Charlene or Catherine, here's something that they like to do outside of work.
Yeah, somebody. Who was 18 or 19 persuade the class that we should pick up crocheting, and she's like, there's actually some bars in San Diego where you can come crochet time. But anyway, total side note, off topic. I appreciate everything you're saying, that we really need to bring humanity back to work, and it's about getting to know people on a different level beyond just their work capabilities, right? So that if they are struggling, they feel comfortable to tell somebody about it, and hopefully the manager, who hopefully comes across as someone that's open to hearing things like that and isn't going to discount that employee just because they verbalized some struggle that they're having. We at Civility Partners, just a tip, one way to bring humanity in, we do what we call an impact lunch every month. And it started off to make sure we were talking about clients, because obviously internally we're getting focused on the business. And it was like, well, we got to keep reminding ourselves why we're doing all of this. And let's talk about the impact we have for clients. And really over time, it's really morphed into impacts that we have on each other, and then clients too. But it definitely has been really great. It's a great way to just show gratitude and to say, I acknowledge you for doing this and thank you, or I commented to you about this needed, a change, and you went and did it. And I see just really a great way to build a relationship with the people on my team, many of whom are overseas. So definitely hear you. I think a lot of times workplaces go into things like this with kind of like the event that you had, let's have an equity and inclusion day, and we'll have a band that's special needs, and we'll, have a booth where you can learn sign language. And it kind of feels like that one day thing. How can, in addition to building relationships with their employees so that people are comfortable to talk about their needs, but how can they carry on those type of events all throughout the year as a way to continue to send the message, we're interested in this and we're supportive?
Yeah, I think first thing an organization could do is seek recommendations from the employees. And I know that sometimes is hard to do. A fear of retribution, a topic that might not resonate with other people, but really find out what the employees, what are the team members interested in, and let them lead an event. Let them own the event, whatever that topic is. Maybe that has something to do with the business. Maybe it has nothing to do with the business. Making a person feel wanted, just saying, use a relationship. We like to feel wanted and needed, among other things, from our partners and our husbands or wives, what have you. And the same thing at work, having that voice to be able to connect, but also look at, hey, I can do this, and I had the opportunity to put this event on, and then I can market it, and I can take some photos. And businesses, as we know, they can take off overnight, and it's amazing where I look at a down day where I don't have much going on. I'm not taping anything, not filming anything, don't have to put any content together. Those are still good days because I know that the work that we're doing is still positively impacting people. But the more time I put into it, the better I feel. So individuals that are able to express themselves not only in a town hall format, but embracing an event. Maybe have a few events that the company sponsors throughout the year, and then sprinkle in individuals being able to have their own event, obviously within reasons, and each organization has to make that call. And depending on the size, it may be an organization-wide event. If you have 20,000 employees, there's 365 days in a year. So that'd be pretty tough to be able to do that from a whole organization standpoint. But even as a team member on a team of 5 or 10 or 20, to be able to do something that individual is really passionate about, not something that is being parroted to them by either society or the organization, but something that they like to do. What do they like to look at in their TikTok video feed, their Instagram feed? What are those things that make them happy? And go from there.
I'm hearing be authentic. That's something a lot of employers, that's something I'm faced with every day, is the major paradigm shift that we're going through, from you go to work and then you go home and you're a different person at work than you are at home. And the 50s, where it's like slowly pulling, like, let's just be people at work. What a big crazy idea. And be authentic and not pretend, and just be you and let people be them. And involving them in getting their ideas. What do they want to see? And having groups of people that get to put on their own events, and making sure they're doing things that feel important to them. And side note, for those looking for a business case, which I know my HR listeners often are, altruism actually increases teamwork and collaboration, because it creates all that serotonin and good feelings about what you're doing, yourself, and the team you're doing it with. And so there's some good business sense behind being authentic and allowing your team to be altruistic. So, well, thank you so much, Justin. Do you have any maybe one final tip for an employer before we call it a day?
Yeah, I think being authentic as an organization, as a leader, and as an individual, being persistent. So continue to go after your dreams. Maybe that's at the organization you're at. Maybe it's not. If it's not, make sure that boat's pulled up to you before you kind of step off. But let's dream. Let's be individuals, be humans, and let's do what we love to do. We're on Earth such a short time. So thank you so much, Catherine, and thank you to your viewers and listeners.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks all for listening in. We will see you next week. Thanks again.